Hey everyone, hope you're having a really good day or evening. I want to quickly make a video on exactly why everyone should journal. Now, you've probably seen videos on this, you've probably heard about people journaling themselves. You might have even tried it yourself too. Now, it was like a really popular thing a couple years ago or even this year. So it kind of got on the hype train a little bit, and look, it might have kind of subsided now for the most part, but it's still super valuable, and I think everyone should try it, give it a go, and see if they can actually kind of integrate it into their day to day life. I personally journal quite a bit, and not on some kind of regular schedule. I did have a regular schedule before, but now I kind of do it a little bit more ad hoc, and I'll explain more of that in this video. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's go over the basics. Why exactly is journaling important? Is it overrated? Um, why should you do it? Now, before we even start, I'll just kind of establish, in my opinion, what journaling is. Journaling is really just inputting your thoughts down onto something other than your brain. So, for example, that could be a notebook. That could be if you use your notes app on your phone, or maybe a journaling app on your phone. Some people use their computer, like and use an app like Notion, for example. That could be helpful. But journaling is really just inputting your thoughts, and taking them out of your brain, putting them on paper or on text, and just being able to look at it and just reflect, and then kind of make connections from that. So, like I said, it's an easy way to store your thoughts, and store and organize your thoughts, almost acting like a second brain. Now, I personally think that this is something that you can't do, within your brain. It's different when things are written down on paper, and you can kind of, look at it from one perspective, and not kind of have it both things in your mind. I think I found it really, really fantastic in terms of uncovering new ideas, clarify thinking, setting goals. Now, look, a new idea might be just kind of brainstorming, just kind of drawing some circles and seeing what works. Setting goals might actually be figuring out what kind of things do I want this year, what kind of things do I want to be achieving, what kind of things do I want to be known for. So these are the things that you can kind of use a journal to help establish and keep track, which I found really, personally beneficial. And look, for some people, especially those that live alone or those that feel that they actually can't, engage with people at work, or that they'll be judged, um, journaling is really helpful. It's somewhere where it's almost like an external source where you can kind of, you can vent, you can kind of throw ideas around, you can actually kind of write as your authentic self without being judged. So it's like having the greatest friend ever that will never judge you, and you can just be honest with them. They might not give you any suggestions themselves, but they kind of work like a board in terms of that. You can kind of bounce ideas off, bounce your thoughts off, and you know it can be really helpful. And as well, because I've been doing it for a couple of years, I found it really great to be able to look back on journals from even a couple of years ago, even 6 months ago, and kind of see what you're focusing on at the time, how different you are. Are you pursuing the same things? Have you actually changed what you want? Um, did you anticipate that you'd be where you are today? Little things like this are really, I think, just cool to look back on. Um, yeah, so that's what I found really important with journaling. Now let's get into how to start journaling. Now, I'll preface it with this, that there is no correct way to journal. It depends on what you want to achieve, but also it depends on you, how you like to write, how you like to do things. Some people, they like visual journals. They prefer more imagery. Some people write things. Some people use their phones. Some people use, a notebook. Um, and then in terms of actually what content they write, I've included a couple examples, some common examples. One being the gratitude journal, which is kind of like, you know, doing your 3 to 5, what are you grateful for each day? So that's quite popular among a lot of people. That, excuse me, that really kind of helps them uncover exactly how lucky they are, or help them realize that. Stream of consciousness is more, just write what you're thinking, write how you feel. And I found this personally very helpful, because sometimes I'll know something but I just don't want to admit it, or sometimes I won't know something but my mind will be thinking it, but I haven't realized it. So just being able to write down things, for example, could be while you're at work, it could be after work, it could be you're having coffee at a cafe on the weekend. Um, I found that really helpful, and I've uncovered a lot actually just from stream of consciousness. Now, guided journaling I've also found quite helpful, and that's essentially where you receive prompts from either an online source like a blog, or there's someone actually talking to you, and you kind of can answer those questions. Um, when people online have kind of they've asked a really interesting question, or really thought-provoking question, I might throw that in the journal and then answer that. If there's a list of say 10 questions, you can ask yourself to help do X. Write those 10 questions down, think about it, and put an answer to it. Super helpful. And look, ultimately, you can just write whatever you want, really. Write little bits of this, little bits of that. Doesn't really matter, as long as it's helpful, and you feel like you're able to kind of get your thoughts out of your mind and onto a bit of paper. Now, because there is no 100% correct way to do it, I think the best thing to do is kind of test and see what works for you. Some people stick to schedules where they're doing a journal, once a day. They're doing it once a week, once a month. Some people do it ad hoc, like me. I'm a little bit more ad hoc. And obviously the type of journaling and the medium and how you actually put your thoughts into paper, it all really depends. Some people like to get really granular, and they invest in specific notebooks, or they invest in specific like dotted or lined, or A4, A5, this thickness of paper. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can kind of get into that nitty-gritty details if you'd like, but it's not really essential. You can start with a $2 notebook from your local um, you know stationery store, and then go from there. That's all it takes. I think it's really important overall that you actually make it easy enough and that you actually enjoy the process, because not these types of timings and these types of formats in which you write won't work for everyone. I know weekly, monthly journaling didn't work for me. I prefer more ad hoc. So, and because of that, I've been able to enjoy the process and actually have a good time doing it. Now, I want to end off with some examples of exactly what it could look like if you start journaling. So, here we go. For example, after a stressful day, if you can write down your worries, that would be awesome. If you, for example, have some tasks, for the next day, maybe just start breaking them down. Start decluttering your mind, start simplifying your thoughts. And I think as well, being able to reflect on your past successes, it's really easy to just say, oh, life's really tough, work's really tough. But I think being able to reflect on your past successes can be really beneficial, kind of reminding you that, hey, this work is worth something, and it doesn't go to waste. And that could include also just jotting down some emails, or jotting down some responses that you've gotten from people at work, if that's the case. That could really be helpful as well, just as a nice reminder to look back on. I think as well, if you're like many people, if you're not where you want to be and you're not enjoying your life, you might want to write down what exactly your dream life looks like. Now, if you don't know where to start with that, for example, I've googled kind of questions to help prompt some thinking. You can watch videos on this as well, but pretty much find some kind of things that you enjoy and things that you gravitate towards, and kind of jot those down. um, See how they kind of integrate with your life. What does your day to day look like? Are you getting up at bed at 6 a.m.? Are you sleeping in a little bit? Are you going to work? Are you going to a job site? Are you going to meet a client? Are you are you not working at all these little things can be fleshed out through journaling. And look, once you do figure out what exactly those things are, you might want to set some goals and systems to help achieve that. It might not be instant, but kind of slowly over time, put yourself in a place where you can actually achieve that dream life you want. Now, for example, if you're not sure, if you have two options, right, and you're not sure what to decide, I'm very indecisive myself. I found it really beneficial, like, and putting down the pros and cons of each option. But then the biggest thing here is actually the situations or the outcomes from choosing each option. So, for example, if I, start running or if I start jujitsu, the pros and cons, write those down, but also what's the outcome? Do you want to actually be a athlete runner? Do you want to be someone who is known as a runner? Is that something that you're actually remotely interested in? And jujitsu might sound cool, but after you look at the actual outcome of picking the option, that's not something you want to do. You don't actually want to be fighting people. That's not one of your values. But you might only uncover that once you've actually gone through the scenario. So, that's another really good example for how journaling can help. Now, there's going to be a million other examples on how journaling can help you and how it's beneficial. I'm sure you'll find that in a bunch of the other videos online or a bunch of the other blogs online. But yeah, look, these are just some things that I found really helpful when it comes to journaling. I personally I've learned a lot about myself. I've been able to progress a lot through journaling. It's helped me make some really big decisions in my life, and would I be here today without journaling? I probably wouldn't. So, take that as you will. I hope you find, I hope you do start journaling if you can. I think everyone should do it. But otherwise, I hope you learned something in this video. If journaling is not your thing, eventually it's totally fine. But if you can at least give it a go, I think it's definitely worthwhile. So. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and if you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.